Hi, Dyslexia Genius here. I'm back on the Victor Governor on the rebuild on how to do one, and there's a few things you need to look at. This is the Governor parts that I'm rebuilding, and this is for demo. And you see all this hardened old grease inside the gears? Well, your gear should look like this when you're done. What I do is I soak it with like WD-40 or lacquer thinner, and then I scrub it with a small wire brush till I get it clean. Then I've talked about polishing. I polish this shaft out to 600, and why do I do that? This is the flywheel part, and this is this part. And this has to float very smoothly because this comes back like that when the machine's running. So what you do is you polish this out. Then I polish this out to 600, and then I use Never Dull polish, and I get this very smooth because this is the speed control, or known as I call it, the little parrot. And we get all that. Now you have to clean the inside.
Okay, what do you mean when you say you polish to 600?
I stuck this in the lathe. That you could stick this in a drill, and you come in here with 600 grit sandpaper while it's spinning, and then I polish this back and forth because this one had these wear marks in here. You see those little lines in here, right here? Yep, those are wear marks from the parrot or the speed control.
So straight 600 grit sandpaper, lock that in your drill.
Lock that in the drill. While the drill's spinning, you reach around with your finger with 600 like this, and you polish it out, and you keep checking. And then after you get all that done, I always do this side too because it looks pretty. And then I get Never Dull, and I polish that out, and then I just polish this out. You don't have to do the end, but the flywheel is the most critical. After you get it all done, this is all the crap I got out of the inside of this. What you do is you take a Q-tip, you put some WD-40 or sewing machine oil on this. So you just take this, soak it with a little sewing machine oil, and we just twist it in like that, and it comes out. You see the little more dirt we got out, and then we clean it out with the other end. Now that you have that clean, you're going to take the governor shaft, this piece, and you're going to put it on here, and you're going to see if it floats. But what I always do is I just spin it like this on the governor shaft because I want to know if there's any burrs on the inside of here or a burr on this. You can get these because sometimes people manhandle them. And now we know that this will float back and forth smoothly when it's running. Then you have to get the speed control parrot, looks like a parrot, off the machine. What you're going to do is you're going to take a little 300, the first part.
You mean 300 grit sandpaper?
Like this, and you'll just rub the top because these are always varnished over from old crappy oil. So if my angel can open up the camera, you'll see right here this blackness, and here I've scraped it off. But I don't sand this. I take a straight razor, and you can see we have a little piece here. We'll just scrape this down gently, like that, and we're going to scrape all that varnished oil off. You don't want to put a chemical on this except oil. Once you have this all cleaned and you've sanded this down and it feels a little bit softer, what happens is people don't look at the leather speed control because this thing, is riding here. It's usually over here, but it's riding here. This is spinning and the leather is rubbing against the brass. So if it gets varnished over from old oil and you never oil your leather, then you get all these wear lines in here. And that starts to drag the motor down a little. Then after you do that, then you get this clean and you can feel it feels nice and soft. You're going to load it with oil. So you're going to take the oil,
Sewing machine oil again?
sewing machine oil, and you're just going to let that soak in. Just like that. What I do is I just take these while I'm working on the governor. And just gently hold it right there on the vise like that. And you can see how it's soaking in already. And I'll do, yeah, see that it's almost gone. I'll look over at it when I'm doing it, and I'll load it up again. The factory said to use Nett's Foot oil. You can if you have Nett's Foot, but sewing machine oil will work just the same as Nett's Foot.
Neat's Foot.
Neat's Foot.
Okay, I didn't know they still made it.
Now what you do, you get that happy little screw right there, and it goes right there. I want to oil the end. Now what you have to do is have a little screwdriver. You have this little hole on Victor Governors like these. Some are different, some don't have this little indentation for the screw. You're going to bring this in here like this. Yes, I've done this 100 million times. I hit the hole, but we're going to do back this off a little because it takes, sometimes I have to do this. We'll just back that off. And we're going to feel it wiggling, the screw wiggling in the little hole that we know we hit it. Make sure that's snug. Then you're going to put 1 drop of oil right there. That's all we need. You will put this in like that. And then you will start, because these don't have a big hole and a little hole like some governors I talked about, you'll reassemble all the weights onto it. You'll leave them loose, and then once it's together, like on the Columbia Q, you'll come in on a hard surface. You'll have all the weights on. You'll push down on the flywheel part, and you will snug up all these outside screws, the 3. Then you'll come in again and tighten all these up, and then you'll do the illustrious spin between your fingers to make sure the weights aren't bouncing around on you. If they're bouncing around on you, then you know that one of the governor springs are bad, but we've replaced all 3 governor springs on this, so there should be no problem. But that's how you do a governor, and then you always keep checking. You see how it's getting, you know, push it with a little screwdriver. See, it kind of oozes up oil. This is great. That speed control is critical on any phonograph. You have to clean the speed control leather, or it's a felt. And basically, it's the same way. Unlike Edison's, they get clogged up. I just kind of scrape the top of the felt gently with the tip of a straight razor, and then I also preload like that also with the oil. It helps them run a lot better. And that's my tip for the day.